Welcome back. James Nicas, Castle Restaurant in Leicester, Massachusetts. And we're picking up the story from the Bordeaux Marathon in 1994.
It's a great story. I can't wait to hear more. It sounds like a wonderful place you're at. I just can't wait.
It's one of my favorite stories.
All right, so where we go?
As we get into the story, this was a commemorative bottling for the 10th Marathon of Medoc, and we were part of the Baton Gerstier team, and it was September 10th of 1994. Like any major race, was 14,000 people. It started in Pauillac, but you were never sure where you were going to see the individuals you were looking for. My lovely wife made a flag that you could put on a pole that had B&G and the French flag and the American flag, so that we would be able to kind of recognize that and wave for the camera. And at the same time, we had those made into singlets with the various sponsors, B&G and United Liquors, and of course my family, the Castle, so that we would be recognizable. And it was totally politically correct. You had the American and the French flag kind of melded together. So it was an interesting experience. Like I had mentioned, there's 23 wine stops. I didn't partake of any wine stops. And at 23 miles, it was the largest oyster bar in the world. It stretched for over half a mile. As you came, again, if you're not familiar with the geography, you would run from Pauillac and you would do loops, and you would end up on the Route D2, which runs through the major part of Bordeaux. You would go in and out of vineyards. As you came out of one of the last in Pauillac, you would look up the hill and you would see Coste d'Estoril, which is in Saint Eustache, and that chateau was just a glorious facility. But the hill to get there was kind of like running Heartbreak, and I've done Boston twice. It's an interesting experience running that kind of altitude or that steepness. You get to the top and you come down out of Saint Eustache back to the Gironde River, and the terrain turns dead flat, but you're still 3.5 miles away from the finish line. So it's a really grueling flat part of the course. Why you would want to have an oyster at that point in time, I really don't know, and I can't answer because I didn't. Because again, I was somewhat serious, and I just wanted to get through this kind of process and see where we went from there. And I saw my wife a number of times, and coming down the last stretch of half a mile and into the chute, it was just tremendously exciting. And then there were wine vendors that were just handing out and some selling different wines. You just run 26 miles. Yes, you had hydrated, but alcohol was one of those things that, really didn't fit the bill. It needed a little decompression time. We didn't take too much of that because as we all finished, and I was the first of the team to finish, the rest finished all in pretty close proximity. Philippe had planned that we wouldn't go back to the chateau, that we would have dinner in Pauillac. But immediately after the marathon, we would go to Jean-Michel Caz, who was the mayor of Bordeaux and one of the godlike names in Bordeaux wine production, to his sister's property. And there was your cobblestone streets in this walled facility with a tremendous house and a backyard, and they put out an incredible amount of tremendously delicious food. in copious amounts of wine. And we were drinking 1985 Chateau Lynchbage from Saint-Julien, which is one of his properties, and Chateau Les Hommes de Paix, again 1985, which is a Saint Eustache, another one of his properties. And all I can really remember is just feeling so relieved that we had done this and done everyone proud, and the marathon was such great fun that we were drinking and drinking and drinking and drinking. And finally, after probably 7 or 8 glasses, looked at my wife, and we had been there a while. I said, we have to leave. I don't know if I'm drunk or if I'm dead. And she talked to Philippe, and he rustled all of us together. We said our goodbyes and thank yous, and got in the vehicles, and off we went to Chateau Magnol, which was, probably about 15 or 18 miles down the road. Well, in the process, he had explained that he had given all the staff, the cooks, the wait staff, everyone the night off because he expected us to be in Pauillac for the night. And he looked at Denise and I, and he said, "Can you cook?" And I said, "Yeah, I think we can." And so that was kind of like the door creaking open. It was all right. He opened the larder. We pulled out foie gras and duck and meat.
Wow.
And vegetables, and he said, "Well, we're going to grill out on the patio." So he's got grapevines that have been aged, and he started the wood-fired grill, and with these grapevines, and we're cooking food out on the grill. And he comes out now. At that point in time, B&G and Mom Champagne were part and parcel. So Philippe gingerly savors a magnum of champagne, and we're eating hors d'oeuvres and drinking champagne and having a grand time. Time to move inside. Well, we need wine. So he took us down to the wine cellar, and I'm looking around, and it truly is an old world cave, and kind of cement boxes with labels, but they're only 2-digit labels. And I said to him, "Look, what is the labeling system?" And he looked at me, he goes, "Vintage." And I'm looking at 02, 03, 10, 19, and I'm going like, "Oh, okay." And we were just grabbing, turn of the century Bordeaux's and some current vintages, and went upstairs. We cooked, and the only rule was that we had to leave everything just the way we found it. So everything had to be cleaned, everything had to be locked up, glasses, pots, and pans, everything had to be washed, because the staff would not be happy if they came in. Which is fine. You grew up in the restaurant business, you understand about cleaning and picking up. It was just one of those magical nights, and Philippe was a very organized person. It was really one of the only times that I watched that kind of lighter side come up, where you probably had the only glass left of 1902 Chateau Magnol, and he looked, sitting next to me, he goes, "The moon." And as you look, he grabbed your glass. It was one of those comical and magical experiences that people have asked if they could recreate it for us. I don't think it ever could be recreated. First, I don't run as much, or as I don't think I could, and B, just everything fell into place, and it was an experience that really would last a lifetime.
Great. So any tips for people who are just learning about Bordeaux?
Well, I'm going to tell you, the Bordeaux region is very accessible. If you were to write to the Bordeaux Information Bureau, they would give you information on which chateaus you can visit, which ones you'll need to make an appointment at. I would recommend don't go to the high price spread because they're really already there. It's the small guys that you find kind of off the beaten path that really will be kind of that magical experience. The countryside, the people, the wine, it is something that you should try. If you're a runner, the race is still going on. September every year, it's one of those things that, you know, I've run marathons in Montreal, Boston, New York City, down at the Cape, in Bordeaux, in New Hampshire, a number of them. But this was one of the more kind of incredible experiences.
That's great. So hopefully we'll be back soon. Next episode, we'll come back with another story. I appreciate everybody coming. Cool.